Hello, welcome to the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. And let's get started by doing a little recap on our latest features. So the first feature I'm going to mention is the when you're emailing a record. So let's say if I want to email this record to another user, so I can say email this entry. And when you're doing this, we have added a few options for you to choose because a lot of times you would like to email this record as a PDF file, or you would like to email the attachment, the file uploads on this record as an attachment. So when you're doing that, so let's say if you're emailing this as a PDF. So if you're emailing this as a PDF, you will be able to choose a field on the record. So let's say you add a field which is the social security number of the user. So you will be able to use the social security number field if you choose it here. And right now, maybe I will just choose the email. So for this office hour question sheet, I will be able to email a PDF file of this office hour question to this user, including a PDF in the attachment of this record. And the user can only open this PDF attachment by entering his email as the password. So this is a nice feature when you're sending personal information as a PDF file, and you would like to make sure that only the person who knows this personal data, personal information, can open this file. This is something that you often see when you're working with a bank account when they're trying to send you sensitive data. And if you're handling sensitive data, this could be a pretty nice way where you can encrypt the PDF file with some personal data to make sure that the person opening this record really has the access to this data. So other than adding PDF file of this record, you can also attach other files you can attach other files on this email, and you will be able to encrypt this also if this is a PDF file, or I think it should, if the file is a PDF file, you will also be able to encrypt the file with the said field, the chosen field here. Like you can choose an email field, you can choose a mobile phone number field, or the social security number field, and you will be able to encrypt that PDF file with this password field. Okay, and yeah, this is something that's pretty convenient when you're working with more sensitive data to ensure that only the proper targeted the person can open the PDF file. All right, and let's get back to the questions. So first question, can our existing DB be imported into Ragic? Also, are there personnel that can help us in importing this over into Ragic? We have an SQL DB. Well, generally, you don't really need. Oh, you're importing a SQL DB into Ragic. So generally, you don't really need to get somebody to help you do that because usually this is rather simple. So, and for most databases, you will be able to export the a database table as an Excel file or a CSV file. That's pretty commonly supported by most databases, and you will be able to import those data to Ragic using the tools and import data from file. So this is something that's pretty easy to do on Ragic. And when you import a data to Ragic, just make sure that the first row is the field headers, the field names, and each of those rows are records in a tabular form. And by default, when you export data from a database, it's already in this format. So you just follow the wizard, and during some of those steps, it's going to map each of those fields into the sheets that you have designed on Ragic, or if it's the template that you installed. And usually when you're importing file into Ragic, just make sure that the first column should be a unique column. So this way, you can not only import data to create new records, you can also update existing records on Ragic. Because when you're updating existing data on Ragic, and we're using the first field, first column on your uploaded Excel file to identify which field which record on this sheet that this entry on your Excel file should update, or if the unique value of this first column is not found, and it's gonna create a new record, basically an upsert operation. Okay, and yeah, so generally you should just try to do the imports like this. And if your database has like different relations, that you have a relational database, and you can still just import it into Ragic sheets with subtables, and subtables created a new sheet, and you can just if you would like to import data into the subtable, you could import into the new sheet created by the subtable, or you could still import into the original sheet, and we also have the function for you to choose that, if you want to import into the master file, or if you want to import into the subtable. So we also have ways for you to do that. So in any way that you want to import data into Ragic, just have your data on an Excel or CSV file, and you will be able to do that without writing any code or doing anything that's too complex. So I'm gonna look for some documentations here. Yeah, so basically mostly just importing. We'll be able to import data from databases by exporting the Excel files and using them to do the imports. And also, if your system is like really complex, and you think you don't have if it's so complex that you don't have the expertise to do the import, you can still contact us, and we can refer you to some of our partner companies who might be specialized in, let's say, the ERP system that you're currently using, and they might be able to help you with the data migration, for some of the modules to import some of those data into Ragic. So if you have something really complex, like maybe a database that you didn't design, it's a packaged software, and you would like some experts on, maybe a CRM that you already have, or an ERP system that you already have, and we should be able to introduce you to some domain experts who knows the product that you're using and assist you with the migration process. Database that you have. We should be able to introduce you to some partners who can assist you with the migration. Okay. I hope this helps. Yeah, but so basically, anytime you have some problems that you really think that you can't do it and you need some service, you need some partner assistance, just feel free to contact us, and we should be able to find you some appropriate partners to help you do that. Okay, next question. I missed the webinar on March 12th for quotation function. Where and how I can catch up with this to get to know more about it. I'm a pricing manager. By the way, I have needs to create kinds of quotations which may not be able to meet one standard format. So need help to save time and work for quotation. March 12th. I think you could just take a look at our YouTube channel. All of our webinar recordings are there, so you could go to our YouTube channel, and let's say there should be a playlist for the webinars. This is old. So we have recordings for all of our webinars here, so you should be able to find them on the playlist. You can find, wow, there are lots of webinars I've recorded, like 139. Okay. And the list of all of our webinar recordings on our YouTube channel. The playlist for all webinar recordings are here. All right. And if on the previous webinar I didn't fully answer your question, feel free to let me know and with the question sheet, and I will try to fill in on more details on the next webinar. Okay, next question. How to change username in the Ragic community forum? Hi Jeff, greetings to the whole team of Ragic. Hello. I have a question regarding Ragic, but not the tool, but the Ragic community forum. By the first time I got into the forum back in 2022, I got a username, but I'm not aware if it's automatically assigned to me by the system or I had created it. Regardless, I need to change it to something more proper that makes sense. How can I change it? Thanks in advance. Wow, I'm not sure. I've never changed the Ragic community. Let me just, Ragic community username before. So, but if I remember correctly, this is a discourse discussion, so you should be able to do something like preferences here. Yeah, you should be able to go to the preferences and change your username. Yeah, you should be able to go here, to go to your, let me just do a screenshot. You should be able to do the last icon. You should be able to go to your profile here. Choose preferences. Then edit your username here. Yes, on this page. All right. Yeah, try this out, and also let us know if you need any help on changing that, because I'm not completely sure that all the access rights are granted for changing these, but if you still need help changing the usernames, feel free to go there and change. Let us know and we'll help you with that. Okay, next question. The and/or statement for conditionals. Hi Jeff, please make possible to add and/or statements both on conditional rules or make fields to check not only a first rule. I mean, for example, if the user is A and field is B, or the user is C and the field is D, then show hide value and so on. Need this desperately. Show hide value. So by this, I think you mean for the conditional formatting, right? Yeah, I know this is currently not supported yet, so let me. Yeah, because adding this, of course, it's technically possible to add this type of and/or and parenthesis. So one of the key things is that we need to support parentheses in these kind of statements. So yeah, I understand this is something that in some cases you will need a combination of and sort and parentheses. So yeah, I will mention this to our developers and see if we can add this to our future development schedule, because this is not something that's trivial to add. That it does add complexity to our UI and the logic. So we will see if we can kind of find some way to support this. And I do understand this is something that's currently not supported, but as an alternative, you could still add two rules for this, because you could add one rule as if the user is A and field is B, and another rule which is the user is C and the field is D, and both have them show hide the field. So yeah, I'm thinking if there are cases where this might not work. So if you have two rules to hide the field, so yeah, I think this workaround should still work, because you're adding a field. The field is there already, and you can have two rules to hide them, and this And by this rule, this means that when either one of those rules are activated, the field will be hidden. So generally, you will be able to add two rules for these kind of OR conditions as a workaround. In most cases, you will be able to add two rules. Instead of one rule with conditions ORed together. In your case, you can add two rules. One for and one for configure both of these rules to hide a field to same result. But do you understand that in some cases we'll need a combination of and or with parentheses. Is this how you spell? Yeah. Support in the future. Yeah, and also what we also heard about a combination of and or with parentheses is for the filtering sidebar. So you because right now we have a pretty natural way to describe your query, but sometimes when your queries are really complex, have a lot of and or parenthesis combinations, it might not be able to do it with one query. So that's also something that we'll be working on in the future. So actually, the query is actually something we heard more about as a feedback to that they need a more complex combination of and or. And we do understand, no, this is something that might be required for conditional formatting, but yeah, but one step at a time, we will be adding more and more support for these kind of more complex conditions or queries. All right, and that's it for the questions for today. And thank you for joining in to the Ragic Office Hour. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to use the Office Hours question sheet. And I will be answering your questions in 2 weeks. All right, thank you and goodbye.